Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. The Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors, July 16th, 2019. Roll call, please.
Leyland. Here. Schwartz.
Here.
Trocca.
Here.
White. Little.
Here. Okay, would you join us in a moment of silence? Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Item 1 is to approve the agenda as received as proposed or amended.
So moved. Second.
Is there any questions on the agenda? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Public comments. Anybody like to talk to the board at this time? It's not a agenda item. Okay, seeing none. Claims and payments. Resolution A.
Total for claims this week is $356,367.07. Fiscal year 19 amount is $228,043.38, and fiscal year 21, 28, $323.69. Again, the total is $356,367.07.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Schwartz.
Yes.
Ms. Leyland.
Yes.
Mr. Trocca.
Yes.
Mr. Little.
Yes. And do we have anything for Country View?
No.
Okay. Moving on to item 4, receiving project updates from department heads and/or elected officials. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. Could I please have the overhead screens on? I wanted to give you a view of our new crane that we purchased as part of fiscal year 20. We did receive that last week, and it is a used crane. This comes to us from a crane company out of Ohio, the state of Ohio. They delivered it last week. They sent a service technician out for 3 days, and he worked with our personnel to learn how to operate the crane. And this is an 80-ton crawler crane, and it has a longer boom than we currently have on our existing cranes, so that should allow us more flexibility in when we're constructing our bridge, our small county crew bridge projects. So we're very happy with the machine. It seems to be everything they promised, and we're looking forward to using it to reconstruct our smaller structures here in Blackhawk County. Moving on to a bit of construction work here in the county. This is the Raymond Road reconstruction project, so it's at the overpass of Highway 20 and Raymond Road. Most of the concrete work has now been completed, and this is work that was requested, being paid for by the Iowa DOT. The ramp connections with the main line to the ramps, those were in very poor condition. The concrete was spalled out and the joints were in poor condition. The DOT requested that we replace, it's about 100 feet on each of the 4 ramps. So those ramps are very large, and that work has taken several weeks to complete. That work is now just about finished. These pictures were taken on Friday. And then the old concrete on the main line, the original concrete was removed. That was all excavated out, and then some geogrid was placed, and approximately 6 inches of rock has now been placed. Some of it is recycled concrete from the old road. You can see this is looking southbound. You can see there's quite a distance. There's approximately 3,000 feet on both sides that now needs to be resurfaced with asphalt. This is looking in the north direction. This would actually be taken at the bridge, the overpass itself. We had to replace the approach panels for the DOT as well. This is a portion they're paying for. You can see the steel there is was placed, and then concrete will be poured. Yet, I believe that was poured on Friday. So it's going to take the contractor probably 2 or 3 more weeks to pave all the asphalt that's needed for this, to finish this contract. And then lastly, our mile rock is still being placed on the gravel road system. Those guys are working till 4:30 every day, weather permitting, and those would be the truck drivers and the motor grader operators. And then a mechanic is usually working as well. That's about it for my update. Do you have any questions I can answer?
You have a flatbed to haul that?
So the new crane, we do not have a truck that we can haul that with. We've inquired from local contractors. They say they can haul it round trip, I believe, for about $700 or $800. So that's what we'll be doing when we need to haul that crane out to a construction site.
Given the late spring, do you think we're on path to do all the rock that we would have wanted to complete this season?
No, and that's what I want to talk to you about next week at the
Okay.
work session. We are looking for ways to supplement the help to get some help possibly from a contract truck drivers, but I don't think that we will be able to get our 15 miles of rock done if we don't get additional help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Okay, moving on then to item 5, minutes approved for July 9th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, we do have a hearing today. It's on actually we got 2 of them. One deals with our code of ordinances, and another is a rezone request that we'll get to them here shortly. Okay, item 7 is consent agenda that is so be made with a single resolution.
So moved. Second.
Any questions on anything on the consent? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's a resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, resolution, please.
Mr. Trocca?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Ms. Leyland?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 8, contracts and agreements. This is a resolution, termination of the contract. This is from DCAP between Blackhawk County and the Department of Human Services. We approved this last week, and the letter came over and it wasn't in time. There'll be one in the routing file, and it's not critical of the county. It's just the program just didn't work, and this is funded through JCS. So therefore, when you read the letter, don't take offense. It doesn't apply to us. And then we're just going to rescind the resolution from last week.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Trocca?
Yes.
Ms. Leyland?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes. Item 9 is other business. A motion at the personnel rec for the office specialist full-time. This is from County Services Office, recommended by Karen Dow. I believe email come over on that. Karen, was this a replacement?
It is.
Okay.
All right. Move to approve.
Second.
Is there anything you want to add, or? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, item B is a motion at the personnel rec for the office specialist full-time, new budgeted in the county treasurer's office be approved.
So moved.
Second?
Rita, did you want to address this? I know there was a couple concerns. Mine was one of them. I was told we did talk about it during budget. Did it show that we held a vote during budget, Linda?
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, we approved it and budgeted it.
I know we budgeted it, but did we approve it at the time we talked about it?
Yes,
We did.
Okay.
everybody, yeah.
Rita, how many personnel you got in treasurer's office?
I have 18.
How many supervisors, managers, including yourself?
I have one over the finance investments, I have one over the property taxes, and I have one with 2 sub-supervisors over the title and registration department.
Okay.
Did you want to share a little information? I know you did it at budget time too, but just to kind of recap for us.
The request that I had was really based around the ERTs that we are having right now. It's a new program for the dealers to help be more helpful for them through the DOT, and it's a situation that is taking more time. It is all tech and computer savvy, but it's a point where I'm pulling a person off to 2 people because I need to have checks and balances, so I have at least 2 individuals working on those during the day. We have had, just within the state of Iowa, there's 15 dealers right now that are for new car only. We've already had about 200 of them come through this new computerized system. And we foresee in August that all the state of Iowa will have all new dealers. And so just locally here with Deary and Rydell and Community and those, we see a huge influx because it will be. So that will take at least 2 people throughout the day checking and rechecking those titles that come through. So that was why I had requested the additional person, because of it right now is being done by the supervisors, and I want to get it to the point where we can get the supervisors able to teach the staff, because it is a position for office specialists to perform. So so that's why I had asked it. I went through the channels, talked with Susan, I put it on the budget, and talked about it at the budget time. So it is a needed position, and but that's why I'm requesting it this time, to be prepared, because there is a learning curve on that alone, because we're dealing with the DOT and the dealers and with the computer processing of it. We handle the paperwork now. We still have, we're a week behind already with just paperwork title transfers that we have. And like I had said before, that looking at the product in front of you, but looking at it online, it's going to be at least 3 times that comes through the system. First, it goes through the DOT, submit the paperwork from the dealership. It gets reviewed, approved, then it goes back through the DOT with the dealers, comes around again. Then they have to do the ACHing of that monies. And once we receive the money in office, then we're actually able to process the title itself. Along with that, the accounting department will have to keep track of all those ACHs, because there's like a 2 to 3 day delay. So even though we may have approved it, it's not going to show into our monies and accounting till several days later. So it's also kind of tying up the accounting department too with overseeing that process. But it was something that was DOT wanted, the dealers wanted. It's for the future, and we just need to cope with what we are given. So with that, that's why I'm asked this at budget time, and I'm asking again at this point.
Is this once you get all this caught up, is this a forever thing?
Yes.
Or once you get it caught up, then it's not going to be such an impact on your department?
It will be a forever thing, because right now they're just dealing with dealers with new cars only. By the end of the year, they're foreseeing to get the used cars, and when you go used cars, then you'll be having out of state and out of country title coming through, and those, just even in the office, is a little bit more thorough review that you have to do because of all the conditions that you have to meet with the other states. So so with that, I foresee it increasing to the point that we'll have more staff working on that and getting trained on it for like vacations and that. So it is the future. The dealers are right now, there are several in the county here that are knocking at our door. They've been trained on their end, and they're ready to get that going right away with us. So once that happens, in Blackhawk County, we just have Bill Caldwell Ford, and within the first couple of days, he had 40 titles to us, and that was just one dealer. So when we really have the influx from the other dealers throughout the whole state, it's going to be, I think, almost overwhelming at first, because of you have to check. It's not, they don't notify you that there's a new entry to that. So throughout the whole day, you're checking and rechecking for those approvals, checking for that money to come in, also checking for the new ones that are being submitted. So it's a constant thing that you need to prioritize to review that, because they are required to get the paperwork into us via electronic or with the paper in office within 30 days, and then we are required to have that processed back to the customer and to the dealer within a period of time too. So it's not something that's going to go away. If anything, it's going to be even more increased. And training for just the understanding of title work. It's not a 2-week training process. It takes months to be able to review and to be able to find the resources that you need to check and recheck, especially when they start coming in from out of state. Because every state does everything different, 99 counties do everything different. It's just the way the process is. But I foresee it's been increasing, and they got a good handle on it downstairs, but I don't want the supervisors doing it 100%. It's a point where they need to hand off to the staff, and we're going to slowly work with that, bringing one person in, getting them comfortable, and working with the next one. So with this additional staff person, we can start that, working with them to train them just on the auto process. And then we also have universal cashier, so it's also the tax processing too that they have to learn. So it's pretty much takes about 6 months or more to get them comfortable to be able to wait on the public.
You know,
And
you'd like to think in this day and age when you have new technology and software, it's the purpose to make the job a lot easier to do, take a little manual part out of it. But it seems this program you're talking about has gone the other way.
it's helpful for the dealers. Very helpful for the dealers. They can submit that, they scan it through and submit it to the DOT, and away they go. Their salespeople have already done their work. The title clerk is doing theirs, and their accounting end of it is submitting the money. So there's no check writing on their point. They don't have to have a runner come downtown to get it. It's good for the dealers, and the dealers have a huge association that push this through, and the DOT likes it because, again, too, they're still have their control over it, the situation, and it's convenient for them because of the ACH processing. So it is convenient and techy for.
Where does this start out on the pay scale?
The pay scale, I think, is $16 and.
Is that the bottom?
Yes.
Where will this one start out at then?
Depends upon who we receive. If there is a bid within the county, then we have to take that in consideration, because if there would be a bid from another office, whatever pay scale they would be on. But I foresee, hopefully, that there is other applications, whether in county or out. So that, Amanda may be able to answer that part of it, but the beginning is at that 16, that's where they would begin.
The highest we're looking at is $20.27.
Is that the high range?
Yeah, for this fiscal year.
The policy calls for,
It depends on where they're, I mean, I believe they have to go, if it's a promotion, if it's a lateral, they go like up a step. But if it's a promotion, they just go to, they don't like increase the step. So if it's which we don't, the lowest pay grade we have is a GS 8 right now. So if anything, someone will get 1 step increase.
I think this is something that another case of something that the state handed down to us, and this position is necessary in order to maintain the high quality service that you offer in your office. And I appreciate that you brought this to us during the budget sessions.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll offer a motion to approve.
It's already been.
We did already.
Oh, sorry.
any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed, motion carries. Item C is a resolution of tax certificate assignment for a vacant lot. This is located in Janesville, pursuant to 446.31 of the Code of Iowa, will be approved. Rita, anything on this one?
Mary and Lonnie had stopped in and talked to me about this. They have already gone through the attorneys. It's a little strip of land right next to theirs. Did not know that they did not own that piece. They thought they got that at the time of the purchase, so they have already talked with their attorney. They're ready to go on that. So it's just to clean up, get their property, and we're already discussing what we can do to combine them so this doesn't happen in the next time when they sell their property. So strip of land right next to theirs, and it's okay with their neighbors and everything. So.
Board, any questions, comments?
No.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Ms. Leyland?
Yes.
Mr. Trocca?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes. Okay, what time is it?
9:18.
9:18. It's 9:18. We have a proposed ordinance number 143, Blackhawk County ordinances. Item 1 is a motion to receive and place on file publication.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 2 is a motion to waive the first reading as notice was published July 5th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 3 is a motion to close the hearing as oral or written comments were received. Was there any written comments?
There are none on file.
Okay, is there anybody else got anything? No questions, okay. So accept a motion on that
So moved.
one.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution to suspend the rules requiring the Board of Supervisors consider and vote on the proposed ordinance at 2 prior meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Sorry. Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trocca,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. And moving on to the last item 5, ordinance adoption of the ordinance adopting of the reformatted index republished Blackhawk County Code of Ordinances be known as ordinance number 143.
So moved.
Second.
For the record, I believe this came from Dana,
Mhm.
and everybody's had information on
Let's
it.
go. Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Leyland,
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Trocca,
Yes.
Mr. Little.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item E. The time is
9:20.
9:20, and this is proposed ordinance number 77-228, Blaine and Jiaying, is that right? Jiaying Sage. Item 1 is a motion to receive and place on file a proof of publication.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 2 is a motion to waive the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, motion to close the hearing after oral and written comments were received and placed on file.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any written comments?
There are no written comments on file.
Okay, Seth.
All right. Yeah, the Planning and Zoning Commission at its regular meeting on June 18th, 2019, reviewed a request by Blaine and Cheating Sage to rezone 2.1 acres from A agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district to allow for the construction of one new single-family home at northeast of 1428 East Bennington Road, which is approximately 2/3 of a mile northeast of East Bennington Road and Moeling Road intersection. The request to rezone 2.1 acres from A agricultural district to a residential district in order to build one new single-family home. It was moved by Anshan and seconded by Sack to approve the request to rezone 2.1 acres from A agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district to build one single-family home. Motion to approve carried unanimously. The one parcel containing 2.1 acres from the proposed rezone area has been zoned A agricultural district since the adoption of the zoning ordinance in 1982. Surrounding area consists of lands with some rural homes in the zoned agricultural district to the north, south, east, and west. Rezone area is designated as agricultural on the future land use map, as well as the surrounding area. None of the area to be rezoned is in the floodplain. The site had a land evaluation score of 92 and Lisa score of 250. The applicant wishes to rezone the 2.1 acres from A to AR in order to build one new single-family home. The rezone area will consist of one parcel. And if the rezoning is approved, there are plans to plat the parcel into one lot through the minor plat process. Parcel is large enough to accommodate the AR by being 1.5 acres and wider than 150 feet. Property main parcel has at least a score of 92 out of 250, which is considered high agricultural value site. Zoning ordinance notes that land that is classified as having high agricultural value should be strongly discouraged for development in almost every case. It also states that in general these sites are reserved for agricultural activities and protected from urban development or urban use encroachment. However, the ordinance states that under very unique circumstances, sites to be developed and only after compelling evidence is provided. The three scenarios are areas not been in active row crop production or CRP for 15 years. Areas not conducive to production by reason of parcel size or shape. Areas compatible with surrounding uses by reason of similar adjacent uses. Meeting any one of these criteria should not constitute approval. However, each request should be reviewed on its own merits. The owners of the family trust land plan to sell their land being rezoned to a family member. The applicant plans to build a home on a former home site that was demolished several years ago, but it could not be confirmed by historical aerial maps. The land is currently not in agricultural production and hasn't for 80 plus years, and it contains trees and brush. The proposed rezone area is not located within the Blackhawk County Waterloo Land Use Height Overlay District. Technical Review Committee did note the high Lisa score and the few homes in the immediate vicinity, but also noted it's family trust land. That's the staff report.
Is there any opposition there?
No, there was zero opposition for this particular request. It's actually an old kind of like homestead site, and there was a home there.
There was a home there at one
previously, but we can't, it predates agricultural photos, because we got stuff that we can get from DNR from the 40s on up, and then we have our regular 1982. So, but I guess there's still evidence of the old foundation at the site. So it's basically putting a home where a home used to be many years ago.
And the individuals requesting the rezone, is there anything you wanted to say, or Seth pretty much covered it?
He pretty much covered it. We've owned the family.
You want to come up to the podium?
Sure.
State your name and address for the record.
Blaine Sage, 1325 Northey Street, Waterloo. Basically, Seth covered majority of it. It's an old family homestead. It'd be my fourth great-grandpa. He settled there. Basically, it's been a dream of mine to move out there, build a house out there on the homestead of the family. We've owned it for 154 years. It hasn't ever been farmed. Since he's bought it, that's where the homestead was, and I want to keep it in the family and keep the heritage going on that aspect.
Board, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, then, and do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Leyland?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Troca?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes. Did you have something else?
Oh, nope.
Okay.
No, just.
You're giving me that evil eye. Like,
Oh, sorry. I'm like, okay. No, we're good.
no. Okay, then, resolution passes. Item 5 is ordinance adoption of the ordinance amending ordinance number 36 is amended, Blackhawk County. This was adopted in February 2nd, 1999 by adding subsection number 228 to section 6B. Okay, this is request.
Second.
Is there any other questions on this one? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Leyland?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Troca?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes. Okay, it did pass. Okay, thank you, folks. Seth? Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, item 10, enter reports or information from the board. Dan, did you have something?
We just security of the courthouse and specific individuals. We talked about some of this before the board meeting, and I'll do some more research and bring some more information back to the board.
Great. Okay, Chris, you had something, didn't you?
Yeah, just a quick update on complete count committee stuff for the census. During the last census, there were grants that were made available to local government entities in Blackhawk, and all the cities, and everybody applied. Still no evidence that kind of program is going to exist this time, so we're making plans of how we run kind of a scrappy operation, and so I will be setting up all their social media accounts. So we'll be creating a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter account specifically for Blackhawk County's census effort. We still have no communication from any Census Bureau workers, which is frustrating at this point, and heard reports of them setting up interviews and not showing up to conduct those interviews and stuff. And so I think I think this work of this committee is going to be critically important this year, because all the evidence points to a really lackluster result from or effort from the federal government on this current census. And then just another update on the Middle Cedar River Watershed. We had our kind of final technical review meeting of the plan, and submitted the stuff to the company that was contracted out to develop it, of the final changes that we want to see made, and that's getting close to being finalized.
Very good. Linda, anything? Okay, with that, then I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you.